Kia ora, good afternoon. Um, I'm sitting here. I've just had a shower. I've done all my chores. I've got a curry slowly brewing in my crock pot. And I'm sitting here listening to music, but I've been watching a lot of documentaries on YouTube regarding the music industry and everything from the true meanings behind stories and how bands became popular when they changed their singers and singers who really need to be giving retiring and everything to do with the pitfalls of music because at my foundation I'm going to have a record label. I don't know the name of it yet, but because we're going to have a recording studio for our musicians, and we're going to be tuning Night of the Black Sun into a musical that we're going to sell on album, and we're going to have a record store, and just like the old days, I want to understand the music industry. My father was a drummer in a band. My sister played the bass. I used to play guitar. I can play the recorder pretty well as well, believe it or not. And all my family sung. So music is it's a big thing for my family. We should have been like the Partridge Family. We should have been like the Partridge Family. My father recorded some stuff in a booth when he was a kid. Mallorca Isle of Love, it was called, before he went off to join the army. And he had a voice like Bing Crosby. He had an incredible voice, and my dad loved to sing Mac the Knife, New York, Frank Sinatra, all that sort of stuff. He absolutely loved that sort of music. So music has been a big part of my life since the second I was born. Mighty People, we love to gather and sing around guitars and all of that sort of thing as well. So music is a big part of my life. And because at my foundation, a lot of my kids are going to be singers, musicians, they're going to want to join bands. I absolutely guarantee that some of the kids there who are musicians and singers and that, they will form their own bands. And I hope they do, because I'm going to have a big outdoor amphitheatre where people will be able to come and listen to the performances. Our kids will put on performances and concerts and free concerts and that for everyone to come and listen to and all that sort of thing. And so I need to understand the music industry, because I don't want my kids to make the same mistakes should any of them become famous or successful through our record label. I don't want them making the same mistakes. What can I do to make the music industry safer for the children and the talent? And because my staff, if any of them have musical talents and that, they're going to be allowed to use the recording studios when the kids aren't using them, and when we're not recording our albums for Dork the Musical, and like I said, for Night of the Black Sun and all of that. My staff will be able to use the recording studio to do their own stuff. So I've been watching all these documentaries and that on YouTube, and the one thing it's done that I've noticed, other than teaching me a valuable lesson about how to protect the talents of my children so that they grow up to be happy, healthy musicians and recording artists and all of that, is that it's ignited a newfound respect for music that I never had an interest in when I was growing up, for example. And I noticed this when I was first working on my products. I discovered a love of classical music. I discovered an appreciation for the Doors. Whenever I was working my cosmetics together, I had to listen to the Doors in order to do it, because I don't know. I can't explain it. And I have never been interested in the Doors. But the surprising thing is, I've discovered a little bit of an appreciation for Fleetwood Mac. I've never, ever, ever in my life been interested in Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, never been interested in them. But I have a new appreciation for Led Zeppelin, like a little bud is growing there for Led Zeppelin and Fleetwood Mac, and Chicago and Supertramp. I've always kind of liked Supertramp. I've always kind of liked, I mean, I've always loved ELO, but it's kind of like my taste in music has become nostalgic to my childhood. And it's really weird. It's like I'm revisiting music that was around when I was a kid that feels different now that I'm older. My Spotify music list is mental. It's everything from Amy Winehouse to Tchaikovsky to ELO, ABBA, Alan Parsons Project, Iron Maiden, like very eclectic. Because of my parents who had a very eclectic taste, especially my dad. My mum was more kind of rhythm and blues, R&B, jazz, that sort of thing. But my dad, it was everything from Frank Sinatra, the Placido Domingo, Connie Francis, Tina Turner. You know, his music collection was just, very eclectic. Pavarotti, and then of course my older brothers and sisters, with there being such a huge age gap between me and my older sister and older brother, and that 14 years with me, my older sister, I also grew up with things like, the musicals, Jesus Christ Superstar, and like Uriah Heep, and with my brother it was like AC/DC, Iron Maiden, all of those sort of things. So my taste in music is very, very varied. But I'm just finding it really interesting how, through watching these documentaries and hearing the stories of these bands from the 60s, 70s, 80s and the things that they had to deal with and the true meanings behind certain songs, and which is helpful for me because I'll be able to know by listening to the songs that the kids write how they're feeling and what they've been going through, and I'll be able to guide their writing journey and their creative process, because obviously you write about what you feel, and a lot of these kids are going to be coming from very traumatic backgrounds and things like that. So whatever they write into their songs, I want to be able to give them support, especially if they're into like thrash metal and like the sort of music where they're expressing pain and through like an aggressive vocal range and that sort of thing, because I'm not going to stop them from expressing themselves artistically. I'm going to know how to direct what they're feeling in the right way. So for a lot of the kids that get into trouble at school for drawing things on the back of their school books that would end up having them at the school counsellor, I'll just redirect that towards my Halloween department and my horror genre department. Do you know what I mean? So then they can write the songs and do the artwork and that for all that sort of stuff. So then it's pointed in a healthy direction. I just find it really fascinating that it's kind of in studying these documentaries, learning the ropes so that I can watch over these kids as they're coming into their own as singers and musicians and bands and that sort of thing, because obviously we're going to be a talent agency as well. So, when they record their albums with us, they're signing a recording contract, and making sure that they have in their little building society that we're going to start for them, that all their royalties are there, that only they will have access to, that whatever we use their music for in regards to us, that all the money they make goes 100% to them. So if they get if their parents become their managers, or and their parents and their guardians and that don't have access to their money, and then they're guaranteed money for life. because that's the one thing I've learned is that I'm adamant to make sure that our talent, the kids, you know, like our actors and our singers and all of that, that their parents and guardians and that don't have access to their money, even if they step away, because they're allowed to walk away from our contracts anytime they like. Anything that they made with us, where they're still making royalties, their managers and parents and that will not be allowed to have access. Only they will be allowed to access. Because in watching, you know, like your Corey Haim and your Gary Colemans and even like your Britney Spears and all that, like these people have just been robbed. I've been watching so many of these documentaries about these musicians where they were just fleeced of like all their fortune. Who was it? Oh God, I was just watching them yesterday. That, you know, that Don't Let Go, that band, they In Vogue. They were completely robbed of all their money. Tina Marie, she was robbed of all her money. You know, she got ripped off monumentally, and I want my kids to avoid all of that. So yeah, so I've been studying how the music industry's been run by the biggest con artists in entertainment, so that I know what to do and what not to do. I need to protect my kids. My whole purpose of my foundation is making sure that when the kids come to us, whatever their talent is, whatever money they make working with us and for us, goes to only them, so that when they go back to their countries, when they go back to their situations, they've always got money coming in. And then they can do with that money what they want, but, you know, if they want to take their money out and use it to, you know, help feed their families and that, then that's wonderful. But they won't be taking the money out to let mum and dad buy a sports car, that's for sure. So I don't have a name for my record label yet, because that's kind of been like, now that I've set everything else up and I know how everything else is going to look and run, that, you know, now kind of like my music record label is the last bit to, I've got to come up with a name for my book publishing company as well, my publishing company, and yeah, my record label. So, and then of course all their mentors and that will be people that know how to produce albums and, you know, will help them write and help them kind of, they'll be their mentors basically, like how, not that it's a good thing, but how Rick James was a mentor to Tina Marie. I just watched that one yesterday, but without the drugs and violence and being ripped off and all of that sort of thing. I don't want any of my kids to have to go through that. My lawyers will be the best there are. Just like my accountants, my lawyers will make sure that everything is airtight for the sole purpose of protecting the talent, not feeding the talent agency or the managers or the parents, or, you know, because I'm part of the new world, not the new world order. I'm part of the new world being put in order, where the kids' talents, where the kids are safe, so that we don't have the horror stories coming out of the foundation like we've had coming out of Hollywood and Motown and all of that. So yeah, I've been thinking about that Gaza, you know, their Sodom and Gomorrah, thinking like we're polar opposites in design. Yeah. I want retired people. I want elderly people to be able to come to where I am and give them everything they need, where they just feel like they're in paradise, where they can just relax and feel like they're in paradise, where parents will be able to come and just let their kids run free and not have to worry about a single thing. I personally, my worst nightmare is going to holidays where I'm around like gajillions of people. I like my solitude and my peace in there. If I go into the city, it's like for the day. I don't want to be stuck, trapped in it. So going to that Gaza place would be like the equivalent, would be just my worst nightmare. I can just barely handle places like Scarborough and Whitby. London would be absolutely overwhelming. New York was overwhelming. And Paris and that as well. Like, fantastic for the experience to be there for the day, but I couldn't stay in it for like 2 weeks because all that noise and hustle and bustle and all the sleaze and that would just be, the drunk people and the sleazy, just, ugh, no thanks. My place is going to be the complete opposite. We won't have golf, but we'll have crazy golf. Where you'll be listening to birds and bumblebees and lawns being mowed and the smell of fresh cut grass and vegetables being dug up, and like that's what you'll hear when you open the windows to my Royal Oak Tree Inn. The smell of bacon and bread wafting, as opposed to car horns honking. And the people that invested in the Board of Peace, they would have been better off investing in the foundation, because at least with my foundation, it's soulful investment, not sinful investment. So yeah, it's like this the split of two worlds. You can see it happening. I had said that you were going to see the evidential proof that the worlds were splitting apart, that the sinners were going to go one way and the saviours were going to go the other. I'm on the saviour's side. King Charles and Vladimir Putin, hopefully, please, Lord Vladimir Putin, don't let him sign, are on the side of saviour, soul, sin, salvation and damnation. Those who invest in the New Gaza and the Board of Peace have signed up for damnation. But anyone who invests in me is signing up for salvation. So yeah, when I can sit down with my architect and my landscape designer and all that sort of thing, and it's there as a blueprint, and I'm able to physically show you what I'm building, it's going to be absolutely magnificent. It's going to be just like the Garden of Eden. It's going to be like paradise. Just peace and tranquility and good wholesome family entertainment. Even the stuff that's scary and Halloween based and horror based, it's just entertainment. But because everybody's going to know that it was all made by children and mentored by adults, and that everything that I've written, everything that we do is going to be biorhythmically infused. How I've set up the organisation of it all, and that when people see it and engage in it, it's just going to be all about having fun. Having, people, I can't wait for people to go into my little movie theatre and sit and watch our movies when we have our Halloween movie fests, and when we have our little red carpet events for just us. For us and the kids and all of that, where it's our own little world. When you step into the grounds of my foundation, you're going to feel like you're stepping into like a snow globe that represents paradise on earth. Harmony, not discord. And every bit of it is designed on the 7 elements of ascension. So my wellness centre and everything, where you'll be able to come and be a part of my space program, have a go in my gaming chair, when we're doing stuff with the space program. If you're terminally ill and all that, you'll be able to touch the creation frequency, meet the ancestors and the ethers and all of that, right down to the underworld, which is where we'll have the Amber Wilkinson School of Witchcraft and our cemetery, and we will put on all like a Halloween stuff, and I can't wait. I'm just the polar opposite It's almost like it's almost like, well, 2016. That's when I started talking about with my ex-husband about the Art of Creation Foundation. So it's almost like we were building the same things at the exact same time, Lucifer and I, but I went in the direction of, like I said, salvation and God and the Garden of Eden, and he went in the way of Molech and the devil and Sodom and Gomorrah and Babylon. I'm what God talks about in the Bible, in the book of Revelation, when he talks about the foundation, about, and it being like rods of gold and being laden with all the, like he names like the pearls and the diamonds and the emeralds and the rubies and that, because he's talking about like the elements, the elemental alchemy, ascension, zodiac signs, I don't want to go into it now because it's got nothing to do with what this video is about. But yeah, so I'm listening to Fleetwood Mac, and I can't believe I'm listening to Fleetwood Mac, and I didn't realise how soothing their music was. Like when I listen to their music, it almost feels like being high, like I've been smoking weed and I haven't touched the stuff. And then like Chicago, I didn't even know that Chicago, that street player playing on my mind, that one, I didn't even know that they did the original of that. So it's like, yeah, music's blowing my mind. It's like music is the key of life. And the music that you listen to opens the doors to so many possibilities when it comes to creativity and imagination and freedom of expression and all that. The music you listen to is really important. And it is common, like it does happen. I have noticed this before. I think I even wrote about it in my book, My Long Road to Ascension, or My Long Road to Ascension. I can't listen to reggae music anymore. I used to love reggae growing up, but since I've gone through my ascension, I can't listen to reggae music anymore. There's so many people that I used to be able to listen to when I was growing up that I loved right up until I had my ascension that I can't listen to anymore. But then the doors have opened up to new possibilities in music that I never would have thought ever in a million years I would listen to, like Fleetwood Mac and Led Zeppelin and Tchaikovsky and Mendelssohn and all of that. Still not a fan of opera. I've never liked opera. I don't like opera, with the exception of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Because then I fell in love with Shakespeare. He's writing spells and people don't even know it. He uses spell work through language and that, and it's just, yeah, I would really, with all my heart, I would really, really, really love to see A Midsummer Night's Dream performed, where I'd get to dress up and, yeah, I really want to see a performance of that. But the thing is, we're going to have our own theatre and we're going to have an amphitheatre, so we'll just do our own A Midsummer Night's Dream. We'll have, like Shakespeare Summer in the Park. Like we'll have like a summer of Shakespeare in the Park where we'll put on like Romeo and Juliet and, yeah. I can't believe it's like as I've ascended, as I've grown, my taste has expanded, and it's like the whole world is now like a fruit bowl full of, like a cornucopia of all new things that I didn't even know was possible for me to enjoy because I was so focused on certain things. But now that I've risen and expanded, it's suddenly like all these things that weren't there for my mind to love before have now been laid out in front of me, and it's like I'm a glutton for it. It's like a cornucopia of tastes and feelings and sounds and sights and that now that were never open to me before because I was so close-minded in what I thought I liked in music and in literature and all that. And now it's all changed. And it's like, wow, like I can't believe that like all this stuff has been there this whole time and I completely ignored it because I was so focused on the music that I liked that I completely ignored everything else. And now that I've actually opened my eyes and seen these gifts and writing talents and, you know, different forms of musical expression, and that it's just like, I feel like I'm eating strawberries and cream. I feel like I'm having homemade ice cream with like crushed berries in it, where I'm tasting it and smelling it and hearing the sounds of everything, and it's just soothing my soul in a way that I can't believe I never engaged in these musicians and artists and that. My whole life I walked straight past them. And now, maybe it's because maybe I didn't appreciate their talents before because I don't know, maybe it was an ego thing. Oh, I'm too young to like things like that. But I mean, having said that, I love people like Sam Cooke and Manhattan Transfer and all that. So it's humbling that these talents have been here this whole time and I completely ignored them. But now it's been opened up to me through wanting to learn the whole music industry process to protect the kids. And it's like the voices of the past, the music from the past, the talents of the past have now stepped forward to say to me, listen to our stories and use these lessons that we learned the hard way going forward so that your kids don't have to suffer what we went through. Fleetwood Mac were invited to one of the Illuminati's houses in Germany, and they were taken down into a basement and they were offered to sell their souls and they turned around and fled. That's a famous story. That's not fiction, that's fact. Not ELO, Alan Parsons Project, most of their stuff is about, you know, Eye in the Sky and all that. That was about them turning their back on the Illuminati, not signing their souls over to the devil. A lot of their stuff is about that. So it's like the voices of the past, the voices of the music and movie industry past have been speaking to me to say, listen to our story and then use that knowledge going forward to make sure that your kids don't have to go through what we went through. We're going to help you protect them on our behalf. And then it's just, yeah, I can't believe it. It's like, I can't believe I'm listening to Fleetwood Mac. I really can't. I'm shocked. And even Led Zeppelin, I'm shocked. Still not a fan of Pink Floyd, though. I don't care what anyone says. But yeah, so I can't wait to see the sort of music that comes out of our kids, because I guarantee there's going to be kids there, and maybe kids that even work with some of my mentors and that, who form bands, who produce incredible stuff, and I can't wait to see what sound comes out of it, to see if we invent new genres. And I kind of feel like my foundation is creating a new art movement, which would be fantastic. The new Renaissance. We're bringing about a new Renaissance. So I really hope the King and Vladimir Putin get on board, because they're into all this sort of stuff. We can do so much for the children. We'd be the saviours, not the sinners. We'd be the world of salvation. We'd be on the side of salvation and not the side of damnation. So the New Jerusalem, not the one that's going to be turned into Sodom and Gomorrah. So yeah, so I'm going to go now. I had to share that because I've shocked myself. So I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō. Bye. Mwah.